Moshe ben Reuven. So I don't want to take too much time. I just want to share two stories. One because I decided it's probably the most, so to speak, famous one that everybody always talks about, and one because since it happened with me, I hold the story very close. The first one is there's a book of stories of like inspirational stories. It's called, I think, Visions of Virtue. I do not know who wrote it. Some Rebbe in Lakewood. That story is printed in there. It's called Bartanura Salvation. I think that's how to call it. The story is one of the many thousands, tens of thousands maybe, of stories that happened on 9/11 years ago. And on 9/11, my father, Shalom, was supposed to be on the 105th floor, the top floor, I think, of the first building. He had a business meeting with Captain Fitzgerald.
Oh boy.
And the meeting was supposed to be at, I believe, 7:15, 7 or 7:15 in the morning, and it was going to be for a few hours. And I think the planes came somewhere around 9 o'clock, a little earlier. And it would have clearly been not so good if he had been there. He arrived in New York the night before, and he went to his hotel. He had like a regular hotel. He was going into New York a lot then, and he went to the receptionist. Checking in, he said, "Oh my goodness, we gave away your room by accident. There was some problem in the computer." So he said, "Okay, you know what? The presidential suite's open. Take that." He was a regular there, so they just they gave him that. So he walked in, and it's Mamash Gan Eden over there. And he decided he's not getting distracted. He doesn't want to start to be busy with everything that's going on over there. He's going to set up for his meeting tomorrow, prepare what he has to prepare. And he wanted to sit down and learn a little bit, and then he'd go to sleep. He had with him a sefer which he had just acquired, and it's recently been reprinted. It's called the Marna K. The Bartanura Mishnayos wrote a sefer on Chumash, which explaining every davar achar of Rashi. That's the Taz sefer. Recently they reprinted Rebbeinu Vadi Bartanura on Chumash. It's a likud and it's incorporated into it. But that sefer originally was very hard to find. There's only, I think, 1,000 of them in the world. He had gotten hold of him. My uncle, who was a Shah, given it to him, and he was very excited to come to learn this new sefer. So he did all his preparations, and he was very tired. He wanted to go to sleep, but he sat down at, I believe it was around 10:30, and he decided he was going to learn a little bit, and then I go to sleep.
10:30 at night.
10:30 p.m. in the hotel.
Night before.
He sat down. He looks up at the clock, and it's 2:30 a.m. Doesn't know what happened. He didn't learn that much. Somehow 4 hours of time elapsed while he was learning, and because of that, he went to stay much later. There was slichus the next day, he saved a lot of people, and he called early in the morning, somewhere around 7:17, and he said, "I'm running late. Do you mind if we just push off the meeting a little bit?" And I said, "No problem. We're not ready either way. Come in at 9:30. It's fine." And because of that, he says, he always said that that sefer saved his life. That just from sitting down, in those few minutes, something happened, and he never overslept his whole life. There's only 2 times he overslept that we know of. Both times it saved his life. That was a different story, not for now. But he was supposed to be in a helicopter that crashed, and because he overslept, he wasn't in it. And this other time, we don't know all the details of that story. But this one is quite clearly a direct yad intervention from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And one of his people that he was very close to, I worked there, called him, like as it was happening, said, "Please say goodbye to my wife, I'm not going to make it," and then he started running for the ferry. That's one, just a tremendous siyata shema protest that you see. Another story that happened, it was with me personally. I used to call my father. We learned over the phone for about 2 years. Went to the Homas Shisharim, and we chazered the whole, about 40 Blag Kedushin, which he was learning at the time, over the phone over the course of 2 years.
You were nervous as well?
No, when I was in 12th grade and first year was not just a little bit sick and then felt
Sick?
It's not for now.
My father Shalom's life was a very, the 2 words to describe him was that he was a Ben Aliyah. He started off in we always say the Bronx, and then my mother was correct, so it wasn't exactly the Bronx, but somewhere around there. We grew up with nothing. His parents weren't religious. I don't think they were Shemer Shabbos. They were half Shemer Shabbos. He went to conservative shul. He had mamish nothing. When he by his bar mitzvah, his rav showed him Mishnayos, and it intrigued him. Like he saw something was different about like a Mishnah, and from there he went on. He decided he had gotten a scholarship to college when he was 16. He had skipped many grades, and he decided he doesn't want to go. Even though his father was nifter when he was 14, his younger brother was 7. It was just them two and their mother. And mom was a very, very hard life without anything. And he decided he's not going, even though he wouldn't have to worry about money. It would be easy for his mother. He asked his mother, can I go to YU? Because for him, that would be the biggest aliyah. He could get more of a cash to Torah. And from there, Baruch Hashem worked out, and he had a lot of help. And his entire life was this same story of going from being someone that had no shaykhs to Torah to having a shaykhs, to wanting to move to Lakewood at a time when there was nobody in Lakewood that was like him. It was when it was 28 to 32 years ago that he first moved into Coventry. That's where everybody lived, and they were all very Yeshivish people. There wasn't many people that came from YU. I think he has one friend he had one person that he knew when he moved. But he decided he wants to raise his kids to be real B'nai Torah, so he's moving to Lakewood, and that was that. And then the next step was that at a certain point he decided, not only can my kids become B'nai Torah, maybe I can also be a B'nai Torah. And he went to YU, but he never really learned Gemara. It's yartzeit. And so it was one of my Rebbeim, very close family friend and Rebbe in Lakewood, learned with him every single day. He davened for the last 6 to 7 years of his life. He davened second every single day, except for Shabbosim, because he wanted to be home around the family. And every single day, even when it was very early, they learned for at least a full hour before Shachris. And he started mamish becoming like he saw the change in the person, from going to like being a businessman to being a ben Torah. And it was mamish. He always had a tremendous avos haTorah. But he felt that in the beginning it wasn't for him. That's not the life he grew up. And then like he got more of a shaykhis, partially because he had a heart attack at one point, and that was a real flip over for him. And he mamish became an emistik ben Torah. And like everybody, also like the close friends and the family would always say like we knew what happened when everybody when brave people went from calling him Kenny to Rebbe Yisrael. Then he saw how like something happened. He really made a dent, and you saw how his personality changed. Everything became such a. He was always a happy person, but even more of a happy person. And he mamish saw it, and he even admitted that he was a very high-tech programmer for many big companies. And he said when he started really learning, it changed the way he thought in his programming, the way he coded, everything he did. It completely changed everything he did. Just having das Torah being with him. So at one point in this transition, in this amazing transition, when I was learning with him, I think it was when I was in Philly, so it's about 6 years ago, when I was beginning of Philly, we learned. And after we learned, I think it's when we learned. It was either I was on the phone with him. He said, Gavriel, before we hang up, I just want to tell you an amazing story that happened with me. Last night, I had a meeting with a new client, and he was a workaholic his whole life. For 20 years, he slept about 3 hours a night, literally. He'd go first bus back to New York, come back late at night. He wouldn't see the kids. He'd only see them on Shabbos. And he would always be an overachiever and prepare much more than he needed. And he decided this time he finished preparing, and instead of doing the extra 20 steps they could do to mamish be perfect, he did what he did. He said, I have an extra hour now before the meeting. Excuse me. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to learn Gemara until the meeting, instead of doing the extra preparations. Because he finished, he wanted to learn Gemara. He sat down and he learned, and then he went to the meeting, and the meeting was beautiful. He said that it couldn't even be that having done more would not have been good for him. But the joy you heard in his voice when he said over the phone that for the first time in my life, instead of just working, I stopped and I sat down and I opened the Gemara. You never heard such a sweet, it was like a childish joy. It was such a beautiful thing. And the biggest lesson really to learn from my father Shalom is how no matter where you are or what you're doing in life, you could always be a Ben Aliyah. You could always change something around. doesn't matter what it was, right? With him it was in learning or whatever it was, but every person, it's never too late. If you really want to do it, you're really going to buck it down and be honest with yourself, then it's not possible for a person who's 50 to change his mitzias. It's already so ingrained in everything you do, and to completely turn around and become a whole different person. So it's a tremendous chizuk, I think, for everybody. I just want to end off that how I was thinking about how this is on the second yartzeit. It's where the last time was much more of a, obviously much harder emotional yartzeit for me. With my whole family in Lakewood, because that was the first yartzeit. I was thinking this year how it's the timing of how where the yartzeit falls out is really very beautiful. And simply said, just could be said about the Rebbe, that the lashon of the Torah for Yom Kippur, there's no such thing as Yom Kippur. It's Yom Kippurim. It's always lashon rabbim in Torah. And I don't know if it's a Gemara or a Rishonim, but they already speak. One of them speak out that why is the lashon of the Torah Yom Kippurim? Why is it always lashon rabbim? The reason is because it's Yom Kippurim l'chaim u'lemesim. That the Chaim are mispal for themselves and for the Mesim, and therefore they both have an Aliyah. And Huadin, and so too, the Mesim are mispal on Yom Kippur for themselves and for the Chaim. There's some sort of Yom Kippur upstairs, I don't know what that means. And it's a Yom Kippurim, the Chaim and the Mesim, and together they machazik each other, and they have, and then they go. That's how you go through the Yom Hadin. That's what Yom Kippur is. And one of the most famous pshatim and why Sukkot is called Zman Simchaseinu is because there's a simcha. There's a simcha that we have that we went through Yom Kippur. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us kapara, and now we could start a new year with the Avas Hashem and the Aliyah that we had on the Yom Narayim. And following this train of thought, Zman Simchaseinu, also it's going to be Zman Simchaseinu l'chaim u'lemesim. And I just want to share that thought, how it's such a beautiful time to have a yartzeit to come and have an Aliyah through the Mesim, which they're davening for us and we're davening for them. And we should have to always be zeicha to have a mystic as Zman Simchaseinu.
Amen.